this 50 millimeter was made in 1993. It's kind of old. It's getting long in the tooth, but
Long in the tooth.
yeah, I mean, it's still priced kind of okay for what it is. It's a 1.4 for
Yeah.
$350. First of all, it's not nearly as expensive as,
Right.
an
And it's
L lens.
small. It's
It's
really
small.
small and
Yeah, it comes
compact.
in at around like 700 grams. So,
Yeah, it's
I
pretty
mean,
small for a 1.4
yeah,
lens.
yeah, for
Usually they're
sure.
pretty heavy. And another few other things that are pretty awesome about it is that it does have the really silent motor that moves pretty quick. So like the autofocus on it is pretty fast, and
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy with that when I was using it.
Yeah, even though it is light, it does feel very cheap in hand. So
Yeah.
you're not really going to get that like premium quality if it matters to you. I mean, it doesn't matter to a lot of photographers. I mean,
But if you're getting like just a starter kit and you're just getting started with a DSLR and some primes, you could pick up it, and they have a couple other ones. I think there's a
yeah,
28 and maybe an 85 that go along with that you could pick up and have a whole set of them. So if you're looking for that sort of thing and you're just getting started with lenses and you want to get a good prime, this 50 is a good starting point for sharing Canons.
yeah, yeah. I
So
mean, this sort of the Nifty 50, you can't really go wrong with either
yeah, the
or. I
newer
mean,
one, the STM, that has that is a really good lens. I'd say if you're gonna look at the two, I've said that in my blog before too. If you're gonna look at the two, you should actually pick up the cheaper one.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I would kind of, I mean, if it was me, this is completely like just kind of subjective and up to personal taste, but I would rather have the Nifty 50 and save my money for like an L lens or something later
Right.
on.
Or
Because,
get the other complementary ones like the 28 or the 85.
yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, this lens, I mean, so like you're going to be getting 1.4 with this lens, but that's really kind of all you're getting over the like Nifty 50 or whatever. You're kind of you're getting the same colors, like similar colors, like which actually matters quite
Right.
a bit.
And the
I mean,
autofocus speed's probably pretty similar.
yeah,
And
yeah,
the
it's
build quality's probably pretty similar.
yeah, it is a little bit quieter
For sure.
focusing than the Nifty 50, but I
Should
mean,
we jump onto the iPads and show you guys some photos we've taken with
yeah,
these?
yeah, let's go ahead and jump onto this and actually look at a couple of photos, and we can kind of discuss image quality a little bit more.
All right, so this is one photo I took with the 50 millimeter 1.4 Canon lens. This was in one of the first few seasons of my career here. With this photo, you can kind of see that the bokeh is a little jagged and a little, not as creamy as maybe some of the other L series lenses. But what I do like about it is the colors. I feel like the colors in this one with whites always looks really nice, and I also like the amount of sharpness in the headlights. And I also really like how it keeps the lines on the grill of the Rolls Royce really straight up and down. It doesn't perspective warp it much. It looks pretty good. 50 millimeters. But you can see like on the emblem there's a little chromatic aberration. And I know I fixed that in post, but you can still see a little bit. All right, going on to this next photo here. This is a photo I shot also early in my career. But I was doing the maximum or the minimum focus distance to the flowers there. I was trying to get as close as I could so that I could make it as like creamy and bokeh-y as possible. And I think it turned out pretty alright with that lens. I think this kind of exemplifies the most bokeh you could probably get out of it at like still a good distance away from something. Like you can still get, you can see the flowers in the foreground there are in focus, but like 2 inches behind are already starting to go out of focus. So like the depth of field that it gives you is pretty good, but it's not the best looking bokeh.
Yeah, I agree with that. When you have sort of string lights in the background or something, you can see some onioning in the bokeh, and
Yeah.
overall it looks very, very busy. So if you look at the bokeh in this image too, you look at the lower third right here, you have these plant shapes that are trying to be rendered, but again the bokeh is kind of busy and they just kind of they don't
Yeah.
look quite as nice. They're not like creamy, quote unquote. So with this lens compared to an L lens, basically if you went with the paid $1,000 more or something for a 50 millimeter 1.2 L lens, you're basically going to be getting better bokeh. I mean, if you're a portrait photographer, I'd say this is plenty sharp. So you look at this image, the eye is extremely, extremely sharp. I actually had to do some retouching on all these pictures. This was a time in my photography career where I was retouching a lot of images and doing like frequency separation and stuff. So I actually took a lot of detail out of skin in all these photos here. Here's a second one here. And you'll notice the background looks a little bit nicer than some of the other backgrounds and bokeh in my opinion. So we were looking through a couple of images here, and with string lighting you see like some onioning, and then like with complex shapes you sort of see just how noisy and but
Jagged.
yeah, but if you have a wall like this with a couple of windows, it really does look nice here. I'm happy with the bokeh. I think the fall off looks okay. It's just with more complex bokeh shapes that you're trying to render and stuff, it does start to look a little bit messy. But again, this lens is $350, so you're saving yourself a lot of money, for 5% better bokeh or better overall image or something. But yeah, again here, if you just kind of if you look at this image, and the further it goes back, the busier the bokeh kind of gets in a way. And you look at some of these lines back there and some of the shapes and stuff, then yeah, but again, it's a pretty great deal, and I would recommend this lens to people kind of starting out. I bought this as my
Yeah.
second lens, and I think it was a great sort of second lens to have. And you're getting 1.4, so
And also, if
yeah,
you're shooting like an APS-C sensor camera, that's a great portrait lens. Like you can get out there and get started with portraits right away because it gives you like an 80-ish millimeter equivalent, which
yeah,
is pretty useful. And it is from 1993, and it is $350. But you could probably pick up one on the used market, and now it's 2020 for a much lower price. You might be able to find one for maybe 250. So it's
yeah.
worth looking online. If you're gonna buy one that's used, I might recommend trying to get ones that have the newer serial numbers, because then it was produced more recently, because they could be as old as 1993.
Yeah, I think if you're looking into this lens, another great option is to buy like a nifty 50, save yourself like $200 possibly, and buy
The
a nifty
STM
50.
version,
Yeah,
yeah,
and you could probably buy like a 28 mil, which would go nice with 50, or
yeah,
maybe
or
you
the
save up for
85 if you
that.
were doing the
Yeah,
portraits, because they have the 85
that
1.8.
85 1.8 is
Yeah,
pretty good for the EF mount too. But
right.
yeah, I think that there's a couple of things to consider, but yeah, we were just talking about the 50 millimeter 1.4, so I'll try to stick to that. But overall, great beginner lens, and yeah, go have some fun with it if you do pick it up. And if you're just posting to Instagram, all these sort of nitpicky things may not matter so much.